Evaluate Johnson's assessment of Cowley in his Life of Cowley. Marks, 10 to 12. Answer. Dr. Johnson begins his Life of Cowley by criticizing an earlier biography on Cowley by Dr. Spratt. Johnson opines that Dr. Spratt has produced a funeral oration rather than a history. He has given the character, not the life of Cowley. Johnson sincerely eulogizes Cowley's little poems and the amount of learning his poetry expresses. He does admire Cowley's critical abilities but apparently disapproves the metaphysical timbre his poetry bears. Johnson cites that metaphysical poetry shows little concern for humanity, a fact which we really cannot deny. Johnson refers to Cowley's Miscellanies as an attempt at assembling diversified excellence which no other poet has hitherto afforded. Johnson praises Cowley's The Ode on Wit as an almost unrivaled piece of creation, particularly the passage in which he condemns the exuberance of wit. His verses to Lord Lalkand are replete with striking thoughts but are not well wrought. His elegy on Sir Henry Wottonus is vigorous and happy. Cowley's poem on the death of Henry, according to Johnson, is just and studious but it has failed to move the affection of the readers. Johnson finds Cowley's Anacreontiques to be a great source of mirth, and praises Cowley for his ability to please if not to instruct. Johnson observes that Cowley's Mistress falls into a different class of poetry. The poem exhibits the poet's exuberance of wit and plentiful of knowledge. Johnson is also absolutely correct in his observation that the poem grows wearisome due to its unnaturalness. Johnson dismisses the charges of profanity and lasciviousness that some critics accuse Cowley of. He feels the beginning of Olympic Ode above the original in brilliance but the conclusion falls much below. Johnson accuses Cowley of extending a thought without improving it. Cowley, as Johnson observes, pursues a thought to its last ramification, thereby losing much of its grandeur. Johnson observes that Cowley's Davidice fails to attract critical attention because of its faulty choice of subject, underdeveloped and depraved characterization, and faulty planning. The general characteristic of Cowley's poetry, as Johnson observes, is that he writes with ample fertility but also with negligent or unskillful selection. There is much thought but little imagery. He is never pathetic and rarely sublime. To Johnson, Cowley's diction is disproportionate and incongruous and his measures uncertain and loose. Cowley's Pindaric odes, as Cowley points out, lacks musicality of thought and diction. He also correctly observes that the combination of different measures in Cowley results in dissonance and unpleasantness. Nonetheless, Johnson regards Cowley as the first English poet to mingle the Alexandrine meter with common heroic 10-syllabic meter. Johnson concludes that Cowley's verse cannot be kept at a great distance from his prose. Both his prose and poetry are weighty with much learning and it is difficult to understand one without another. It can be argued that the ability of acute observation and distinct intolerance of Dr. Johnson is quite visible in his Life of Cowley. Finished. Please subscribe to the channel for more updates of ready-made notes on English literature. Also, please share this channel to help any student pursue a degree in English literature. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please do not forget to like and comment.